Alright, I'm going to be installing a Weber 3236 DGEV carburetor on my 1985 Nissan 720 pickup truck. I've been searching around for tutorial videos online for this, and I can't find really anything in depth, so I'm going to be making a video myself. So I'm going to start off by removing this here, which we don't need anymore, and the carburetor kit should come with a bunch of these little caps. Let's see, this cap is too small, but you're going to want to cap this top valve just like that, and then we're going to remove this hose. And I should also mention we are doing an EGR delete on this. Next, I pulled off the hose right here that goes to the coal box, and I'm just going to set that aside for now. So next I'm going to unhook this and all the hoses attached to it, because it's a 36-year-old truck now and it's Idaho. I don't have to pass emissions, so we're getting rid of all the emissions bull crap. So this hose right here is going to get capped, and then this splits off right here. It's just going to get bypassed. They have an adapter in the kit that goes right in there. I do believe we're going to need some thread tape for this. So just unscrew this right here and then take this hose off right there, and that's going to make it easier to get this off. Then we'll pull this off right after we unscrew this. So we got all that taken off, and I put a cap on this from the kit. So the next thing I'm going to do is unplug this from this plug from that and just set it aside for now, and then unplug this from this. Let's see if I can unplug this from that, and that is a little I guess adapter plate that's originally on this, but we don't need this plug anymore at all, so we're just going to set that aside, and it's not going to get used again because this plate is coming off, to my understanding. So next I'm going to eliminate this here. Just pull it out, disconnect all the tubes to it. This just goes straight in over here. Disconnect that, don't need it anymore. And then we're going to reroute this bottom hose here down into that, the farthest one back from the front of the vehicle. So for this middle tube here, it's pretty simple. This comes out, this tees off here and goes down to this first line there. That stays the same, comes around here, and then this goes, I believe this is the vacuum advance on the carburetor. That also stays the same. I mean, it's going to come off and go onto the vacuum advance on the new carburetor, but we don't change anything on this. This comes around here, hooks in there. That stays the same, but what I'm changing here is the EGR delete. Just cap that off, or just put a straight adapter through there instead of a T. Either way will work. I was thinking about doing this anyway, and I decided not to, and then I decided to again. I'm gonna replace all the vacuum lines on this because they are 36-year-old hoses. So I got 10 feet of, this is 532, and probably gonna need more of this. I just got a foot of 932 just for this line here. It has come to my attention that this does not go there. The threads are very similar to the part that comes out, but they are different. So I've got everything in now and the truck is running, so I'm just going to go over everything that I did that has changed. I've replaced all of the vacuum lines on this side of the vehicle, the ones down here. I didn't move or adjust or anything, they're still fine. So every vacuum line over here is brand new. So we got the carburetor in. The adapter plate right there comes with the kit from Parts Geek. these bolts get torqued down to 12 foot-pounds of torque, but it's very hard to get a torque wrench in there just because of how little clearance there is between this and this, even with a universal joint. So I just kind of snugged it up good. You don't want to over tighten them, and you do want to tighten them all the same, so count the revolutions that you go down and just snug it up good. This bracket right here comes with the Parts Geek kit. It's the new throttle linkage bracket. The old one will contact on this piece right here, so you can't reuse it. And at least in my case, this bracket that holds onto the fuel line was on top of this bracket. So I flipped them around because it wasn't lining up this right. And these are two 10mm bolts, and you just snug them up good. I have my idle speed adjusted about right here, and the Parts Geek kit comes with this throttle linkage. I don't believe that this is the linkage that originally comes with this carburetor if you don't order the kit, but I could be wrong. So this truck idles between 700 and 900 RPMs, the way I have it set, depending on how it's warmed up, and that's pretty good for me. I've got the coal box hooked up here, all the way over straight to this bottom piece. And the fuel line, you'll want to do a fuel pressure test because this carburetor is supposed to run between 2 and 3 psi. Fuel, I just gotten a little carburetor fuel pressure gauge from Advanced Auto. It was like $22. Hooked it up in line on this, and then turned on the truck, ran it, got a solid 3 psi, and that's just what you're looking for. You don't want it to run too high or too low, and you know you got to change your fuel pump or fuel regulator. But to hook this up, I had to loop it around this. Well, this is a PCV valve that goes into the air cleaner right there, but I had to loop it around that because the metal fuel line right there doesn't give you enough room to go around that way. So I think that looks all right. I didn't have to do any adjusting on this carburetor to get it to run. I've been running it for about a month now, and I'm getting around 20 miles to the gallon in the city and around 30 in the highway. But I am also on pretty small wheels. These are what came stock with it, and mine is a stick shift. You should use a little bit of high temperature thread tape in that, but I didn't have any on hand and it hasn't leaked for me so far. I did a leak test on the whole thing and I haven't had any issues with it. So that'll work for me, at least for now, until it starts having problems. And then here's how you hook up the electric choke. The flat blade connector, and it also comes with a butt connector, but it doesn't fit in these terminals. I couldn't find any butt connectors that fit these terminals. They're real small. So what I did is I just folded over the wire a couple times, trimmed it back a little bit more, folded it over twice, and just shoved it in there, and it's all right. I've been driving around for a month and it hasn't had any issues. But you go into the one right here that lines up with this blue and red wire. Blue wire with red stripes. If you're still having trouble getting your vehicle running good, I would recommend changing all the spark plugs, wires, and distributor cap and rotor. I had the issue with the previous carburetor running too lean, and it burnt up a couple spark plugs, and it still wasn't running right after that. So this changing all that, it's just an extra precaution. It's not that much. I think the whole thing was probably like 60 to $100, and it's just a little extra precaution. there it goes. That's the electric choke. It'll ramp it up there. I give it about 5 seconds. Idling at about this temperature, well, at this RPM when it's cold, and then you just tap the gas and it'll go back down to idle. Well, the truck runs good and sounds good. Doesn't look good, but alright, let's go for a drive. Truck feels noticeably more powerful in the low end. Doesn't feel as gutless. It definitely just picks up and goes more. Way nicer. You might want to lean out your low end idle mixture. In my case, I am getting pretty bad city gas mileage, so I think maybe turning that down a bit will help a lot, but for now I mostly take it on road trips and highways and stuff, so it does good for me. Sounds good. Pulls good. This is so much better than the stock carburetor. And the 38, the Weber 38 kit will have even more low-end torque than the 32, 36, but you're gonna get significantly worse gas mileage. So for me, where I don't really care too much about power, especially in this truck, this does good for me. I like it a lot. Alright, I believe that is everything. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments and I will get back to you. Thanks for watching.